Hello everyone, this is AgentRuss and welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we are adding two things that make the engine feels like a real game. First, checkpoints. So respawn happens at the last checkpoint you touched. Second, a health UI, a clean hotbar driven by events, not hard-coded into gameplay systems. This keeps our ECS modular and multiplayer friendly later. First, we are going to add a new event type. So let's go to our event types.js. Inside here, we're going to add event checkpoint. We will emit a checkpoint event when the player activates one. Later, we can hook UI into that without touching checkpoint logic. Next, we are going to create a new component. We will call this file checkpoint.js. To create the class, we're going to say export class checkpoint extends component. Inside the constructor, we're going to say radius equals 1.25. We will call super. Then we will say this.radius equals radius. This.activated equals false. This component marks an entity as a checkpoint. It stores a radius for trigger distance and an active flag, so it only triggers once. Next, we are going to create the checkpoint system. So for that, we will create a new file and we are going to call this file checkpointsystem.js. This file will import system, query, transform, player control, SpawnPoint, checkpoint, and event checkpoint. Then we can go ahead and create a class. We will say export class checkpoint system extends system. We will create the update function. Inside the update function, we are going to query the players and checkpoints first. So for that, we will say constant players equals query dot entities with, and we will pass the world, player controlled, transform, and spawn point. And for checkpoints, we will say constant checkpoints equals query dot entities with. It will have world, checkpoint, and transform. Then we will say if players dot length truly is 0 or checkpoints dot length is 0, will return constant player equals, we will set this to players 0. Constant pt equals world dot get component with player and transform. Constant spawn equals world.getComponent with player and spawn point. For constant c of checkpoints, constant cp equals world.getComponent with c and checkpoint. If cp.activated, continue. Next, we will say constant ct equals world.getComponent with c and transform. Constant dx equals pt.x minus ct.x. Constant dy equals pt.y minus ct.y. Constant dz equals pt.z minus ct.z. Constant r equals cp.radius if dx times dx plus dy times dy plus dz times dz less than equals radius times radius. Then we will activate, we'll make a comment here, say activate, and for that cp.activated equals true. And then next we can update the player's respawn location. So let's make a comment here, say update player's respawn location. So for that we will say spawn.x equals ct.x, spawn.y equals ct.y, spawn.z equals ct.z. And finally, we will say world.events.emit, and we will pass the event checkpoint, and then we will say player checkpoint, and we'll set that to C. So the checkpoints are just trigger logic. If the player is close enough, we update their respawn point. We also emit an event, so other system can react without coupling. Next, we will create the checkpoint factory. So under the game folder, we will create a new file and we are going to call this file checkpointfactory.js. This file will import three, transform, checkpoint, and mesh. Then we will add a helper to create a checkpoint entity and marker mesh so we can see it. For that, we will say export function, create checkpoint. We'll pass world, scene, x, y, and z. And radius, we'll set this one to 1.25. And inside this function, we will say constant e equals world.createEntity, world.addComponent, we'll pass the entity, and now we'll say new transform, and now we're gonna pass the X, Y, and Z. Then we're gonna add world.addComponent. We'll add a new checkpoint. So we'll say new checkpoint, and now we'll pass the radius. After that, we want to make a simple visible marker. So let's make a comment here, say simple visible marker. And for that, we can say constant geometry equals new 3 dot. Let's make this one a cylinder geometry. Inside here, we're going to say 0.35, 0.35, 0.15, and 18. Then we will say constant material equals new 3 dot mesh standard material. We'll say emissive intensity, and we're going to set this one to something like 0.8. And now we'll say constant mesh equals new 3 dot mesh, and we'll pass the geometry and the material. After that, we can say m.position.set. It's going to be x, y, and z. m.cast shadow. It's going to be false. m.receive shadow. That's also going to be a false. Then we can go ahead and add this one into the scene. So we'll say scene.add, and then we'll pass the mesh. And we will also need to add this one to the world. So we're going to say world.addComponent. We'll pass the entity, and then we'll say new mesh, and we will pass the mesh. And next we can return the entity. So this is a classic pattern, a gameplay entity plus a debug marker mesh. The checkpoint is still purely data driven. The mesh is just for visibility. Next, we're going to add this to our test level. So let's head over to our test level factory. First, we are going to import create checkpoint from checkpoint factory. Then we can scroll down, and right at the end, we can create the checkpoints by saying create checkpoints. And we will pass the world scene, and now we're going to set the X, Y, and Z position. So for that, let's set 0, 0.15, and then for Z, it's going to be 0. I'm just going to give estimate numbers. If it's colliding with any other objects in the scene, we can adjust this later. So for the second checkpoint, we can say world scene, and for X, we can set this to 6. For Y, it's going to be 0.15, and for Z, it can be 6. Let's create one more. Say create checkpoint, and this one, let's say -6 for X, 0.15 for Y, and 10 for the Z. So we are pretty much dropping a few checkpoints around the level so we can test the full respawn flow. And let's save this file. It's going to have a white screen. We can ignore that for now. Next, we can head over to main.js. First, we are going to import checkpoint system, and then we can scroll down. Right after collision, we can say something like 6.5. We'll say checkpoints, and now we're going to say world.addSystem, new checkpoint system. The reason I put this one here because we want checkpoint checks to run after movement and collision have settled for the frame. Next, let's open up our console. It says cannot read properties of undefined reading, create entity, add create checkpoint, and add create test level. All right, let's go have a look at our test level factory and create checkpoint. In here, I say world dot. This actually needs a big comma instead of a dot. So let's save that. And that should fix the issue. Now let's go ahead and test it. So I'll make the game screen bigger. So look around. Right now we have one checkpoint here, one checkpoint there, and one checkpoint there. So if I move somewhere around here, since I am closer to this checkpoint, when I die, I should respawn here. So let's open up our console, and I'll press K to reduce the health to 0 and to trigger the respawn. And it respawns from the respawn point, but our player falls through the ground. That's because the player currently spawned inside the ground. So to fix that, we can go to checkpoint system, and right here where we set the Y, we can say something like +5. And this is just a quick fix. Later on, we can calculate the player height, and then we can add that to this. So it will spawn above the ground instead of inside the ground. So for now, just doing something like that is fine. So we're going to save it, and we're going to test it again. So I'm just going to go somewhere closer to that checkpoint, and then I'll reduce the health. and it should start from there. And then if we go closer to this checkpoint, I'll reduce the health again. And it will spawn there. So I want to point out something. Currently, we have activated flag for the checkpoints. So as soon as you go over a checkpoint, it activates the checkpoint. We don't have any logic to deactivate the checkpoint. So let's say I activated this checkpoint and then I activated this checkpoint. This is going to be the latest checkpoint we can spawn. So even if I go back to one of these checkpoints, it is still going to spawn at this checkpoint. That's because once we activate it, we skip that checkpoint forever. And that means each checkpoint can only fire once per run. That's a common design, one-time checkpoints. If you want to reactivate the checkpoints, in the future episode, we can actually set up a key and we can manually reactivate the checkpoints. Next, we are going to implement a health UI. So we will go back to event types and we are going to add a new event type. And this is going to be event health check. We will emit a health check whenever health is modified. UI listen to that event, so gameplay never directly touches DOM. Next, we will go to the damage system. We will import the event health check. And right after where we apply the damage, we are going to say if health.current not equals before world.events.emit, and we will emit the event health check. And in here, we will pass entity is event.target, current is health.current, and max is health.max. Damage system is the only system that mutates health, so it's the correct place to emit health change. Now UI and networking can all react without coupling. Now let's head over to response system. We are going to import the event health change here as well. And then we're going to scroll down. Where we restore the HP, we will say world.events.emit. We'll pass the event health check. And then in here, we're going to say entity is E, current is h.current, and max is h.max. Respawn restores health. So we also broadcast that change for UI. Next, we are going to create a health UI system. Let's create a new file and we're going to call this file health UI system.js. This file will import system and event health changed. And now we can go ahead and create the class by typing export class health UI system, extend systems, constructor, super. And now we can say this dot underscore wired equals false, this dot underscore bar equals null, this dot underscore text equals null. Then we can create the update function. Inside the update function, we will say if this is not wired, this dot underscore current HUD world dot events dot subscribe. In here we'll say event health changed. Then we'll say ev arrow this dot underscore set ev dot current ev dot max. This dot underscore wired equals true. And after the update, we can create the create HUD function. So we'll say underscore create HUD. In here, we'll say let HUD equals document.get element by ID. And let's call this one HUD. If it's not HUD, HUD equals document.create element. We'll say div. Next, we'll say HUD.id equals HUD document.body.append child. And we will pass the HUD. Next, we can set the container. Let's make a comment here and say container. Constant box equals document.create element. We'll create another div. Box.id equals health box. And after container, we need the bar background. So we'll say bar background constant bg equals document.create element div bg.id equals health bg. We also need the bar fill. So let's make a comment, say bar fill. Constant fill equals document.create element div fill.id equals health fill. And finally, we need the text. Let's make a comment, say text. Constant text equals document.create element div text.id equals health text. And then we can append the child by saying bg.append child fill box.appendChild pg, box.appendChild text, and hot.appendChild box. Then we can say this dot underscore bar equals fill, this dot underscore text equals text, this dot underscore set 100 to 100. Then we can go ahead and create the set function. For that, we're going to say underscore set current max constant pct equals max greater than 0, current divided by max if not 0, constant clamped equals math.max 0, math.min 1, and pct this dot underscore bar dot style dot width equals, let's set this to clamp times 100%, this dot underscore text dot text content, and for that we will say hp current to max. So let me explain. This system is UI only. It doesn't know about damage or respawn. It listens for health change events and updates the DOM. This is exactly the kind of separation we want for multiplayer too. Next, we are going to head over to style.css. Inside here, we're going to scroll down. At the bottom, we are going to add HUD, health box, health PG, health fill, and health text. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly add that. So we have the HUD, and these are the settings for HUD. And this is the health box, and we set the width to 240 pixel. Health PG, and these are the settings for health PG. And then finally, we have health fill with these settings and health text. Now let's go ahead and save it. Next, we are going to head over to main.js. Inside here, we're going to import the health UI system. Then we are going to scroll down. We can register this somewhere around here. We can say world.add system, new health UI system. UI can run anytime because it's event-based. Now let's go ahead and save this file. We are getting a white screen. So let's open up our console. It says system is not defined inside health UI system. So let's go to that file and scroll up. So this should be system rather than systems. So let's remove the extra S and save the file. Now it's complaining saying that current HUD is not a function. We have a typo here. So this actually needs to be create HUD instead of current HUD. So we'll say create HUD. So it matches to this one. And let's save it. And let's make our game screen bigger. As you can see, we have a health bar appears top left. We are going to test this by pressing K to decrease the health and to see if the bar updates. Now, as you can see, once I press the K, we are going to keep pressing K to decrease the health until respawn, so we can check if the respawn restores health and updates the bar. And it responds with full health. And let's go ahead and test the checkpoint again. So I'm going to go towards this checkpoint and it should activate it. Now we'll try to respawn again. So we'll reduce our health. And it will spawn on the checkpoint. We can also go ahead and test the other checkpoint. So we're just going to go towards the other checkpoint. We're going to activate it. Now we can move further away. And now we're going to reduce the health. And it's going to respawn on that checkpoint. And that's it for this episode. We added checkpoints that updates our respawn location and a health UI that is fully event driven. Gameplay doesn't touch the UI directly, and the UI doesn't touch gameplay directly. They only communicate through events. This is the exact kind of architecture that scaled toward real RPG systems and multiplayer later. In the next episode, we will add a proper interaction system so checkpoints and pickups can be activated through consistent rules, and we will start moving toward inventory. If this was helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'm AgentRuss. See you next time.